Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Monday. Gonna be recapping all 4 games from the Sunday slate from yesterday. Make sure that you stay tuned into this episode to the end. We'll try and keep it a little bit of a short episode. Keep it under 30 minutes of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast for today, because, of course, you guys know, if you've been listening to the podcast, we tend to go over a little bit, but we'll try to keep it under 30 minutes. We're going to be recapping all 4 games in the Sunday slate. If you are new to the podcast, your first time listening, first time checking out the podcast, first time discovering the podcast, make sure that you hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and make sure that you follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're with you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button, if you will, so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast and the latest hockey news going around the league. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's NHL news. So the Vancouver Canucks, they hold off the Washington Capitals with a 4-3 win on Sunday. This was a morning game. This came on at 11:30 a.m. Central Time, and it came on in the afternoon at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So this was a little morning, afternoon matinee game, if you will. And the Canucks got it done against the Washington Capitals with the 4-3 win. They moved to 4-2-0 of the season. They won 3 of their first 5 road games starting this road trip. Their road trip started in Dallas. They won 5-3 in Dallas. They won 3-2 in the shootout in controversial fashion. Yes, I did say that because I was upset about the Tyler Bertuzzi call in the third period last Friday. His second goal of the game, his potential second goal of the game, had been disallowed due to goaltender interference, which there was no goaltender interference on the play. You should go back and watch that replay from the Canucks and Blackhawks last game at the United Center. Take a look at Tyler Bertuzzi's potential second goal of the game. It was waved off due to goaltender interference, which there was no goaltender interference on the play. For those who watched the game on Friday between the Canucks and the Blackhawks. But yeah, the Canucks got it done 3-2 in the shootout, and they got it done in Washington 4-3 on Sunday. Canucks got off to a great start in the first period. They struck early, scored 3 goals in the first period. Of course, goals from Elias Pettersson, Tyler Myers, and Kiefer Sherwood to jump out to a 3-0 lead. Of course, Kiefer Sherwood's goal coming on the power play. And Canucks defenseman Tyler Myers, he had a great game. He had 1 goal, 1 assist for a 2-point game, because, again, this was a matinee game. This wasn't no afternoon, night game, whatever. So he played a significant 2-way role in the Vancouver Canucks win. His goal, which was the second Canucks goal this game, came after a scramble in front of the net. And the Capitals did challenge this for goaltender interference. There was no goaltender interference on play. You go back and watch that replay, and the referee said it was a good goal, which to me, I don't get. You say that for the Canucks and Blackhawks game last Friday, you say that wasn't no goaltender interference, which, believe me, it was not. If you take a look back at that replay, you can see that Tyler Bertuzzi had jammed the puck in past Kevin Lankinen. Kevin Lankinen was able to play his position, wasn't interfered with whatsoever, sneaks it past the pass of Kevin Lankinen, and then they wave it off for goaltender interference. He was able to play his position, nobody interfered with him, nobody ran into him or nothing like that. It was just goaltender interference. It was kind of the same scenario almost the same scenario for the game against the Capitals. Charlie Lindgren, not interfered with. And what did the refs do? They say it's a good goal. Again, I don't get that. But yeah, Capitals lost the challenge right there. Tyler Myers' goal has stood. Teddy Bluger also scored for Vancouver in this one. His goal coming in the second period. And Thatcher Demko made 28 saves on 31 shots faced in net. And for the Washington Capitals, Ryan Leonard, Jacob Chikrin, and John Carlson scored for the Capitals. Of course, Ryan Leonard's goal coming on the power play. Jacob Chikrin scoring at even strength. John Carlson with a late goal, making 4-3. So the Capitals almost completed the comeback. But the Canucks held on for the win. Unfortunately, Alex Ovechkin did not score on this one. He's up to 898 career goals right now. He scored his 898 career goal against the Wild. I believe that was on Thursday or Friday. He scored his 898 career goal against the Wild. That will also be his first goal of the season. Only 2 more goals away from 900 for the Great 8, Alex Ovechkin. And Charlie Lindgren, he made 20 saves on 24 shots faced the net. Capitals' 4-game winning streak comes to an end, and they move to 4-2-0 of the season. The Capitals, they wrap up their 4-game homestand against Seattle Kraken on Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Canucks continue their 5-game road trip in Pittsburgh against the Pittsburgh Penguins Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then they will wrap up their 5-game road trip in Nashville, the Music City, on Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Moving on to another afternoon game, Detroit Red Wings and the Edmonton Oilers. The Red Wings get the 4-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers on Sunday. They have won 5 in a row now after losing their season opener to their original 6 foes and rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. They lost 5-1. John Gibson had a bad start in his Red Wings debut in this one. In that one, in the opener against Montreal. But the Red Wings, they moved to 5-1-0 of the season. Dylan Larkin had a great game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists for a 4-point night. Also extended his season opening point streak to 6 games. He now has 5 goals, 6 assists for 11 points in 6 games during his point streak. So congratulations to Dylan Larkin. And fun fact, he is only the 3rd Detroit Red Wing to have multiple season opening point streaks of 6 or more games since Gordie Howe and Steve Yzerman. Steve Yzerman and Gordie Howe, only the other Red Wings players to have season opening point streaks of 6 or more games. And Dylan Larkin is right there in that conversation with Red Wings legends Gordie Howe and Steve Yzerman. Emmett Finney scored his first 2 career NHL goals in the win, one of his goals being the empty netter to seal the deal. And he also had an assist for a 3-point night. He is the first player selected by Detroit in the 7th round or later to get a multi-goal game since Henrik Zetterberg, Red Wings legend, did that back in January 18th of 2015. Emmett Finney was drafted in the 7th round of the 2023 NHL draft. Correct me if I'm wrong. Same draft year as Connor Bedard, Leo Carlson, Will Smith. John Gibson, he made 16 saves on 18 shots faced in net. So, of course, a great bounce-back win for John Gibson after his, Red Wings debut got off to a bad start. I think during the Red Wings win streak before, they have went to Cam Talbot, now Todd McCullough, puts in John Gibson. John Gibson has a great effort in this one. Detroit was without Patrick Kane, who did not play due to an upper body injury from Friday's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which the Red Wings won 2-1 in overtime. And that's going to hurt my fantasy team a little bit because I do have Patrick Kane on my fantasy hockey team. He's currently day-to-day as of right now, like when I'm recording this podcast. He's currently day-to-day. So hopefully he returns soon. We'll just have to see how everything go. Meanwhile, Lucas Raymond returned from injury after missing 2 games due to an upper body injury and contributed 2 assists in the win and finished with a +2 rating and 17 minutes to 20 seconds of time on ice. And Detroit's penalty kill stepped up to the task in this one. Of course, head coach Todd McCullough said that the team isn't giving up 40-45 shots against, and their penalty kill has improved. For the Oilers, Noah Phillip and Leon Draisaitl scored for Edmonton. Stuart Skinner made 20 saves on 23 shots faced the net. And the Oilers' offensive slump continues. The Oilers have now lost their third straight game. They were in a back-to-back set. They played Saturday against New Jersey Devils. That was also an afternoon game. It was a 5-3 loss for the Oilers against the Devils, now losing 4-2. Let's not forget that they played against Matthew Schaefer and New York Islanders last Thursday. They lost 4-2 in that one, but overall, it was a great game between Connor McDavid and Matthew Schaefer. But yeah, New Oilers have now lost their third straight game. Connor McDavid, he now has a 6-game goal drought. That is surprising because usually we would see Connor McDavid score. Let me remind you that he had a 60-plus goal season at one point. I think he scored 64 goals, correct me if I'm wrong, during the 2022-23 NHL season. And we're not seeing that much goal scoring from Connor McDavid, so that is shocking that he is now goalless in 6 games. And the Oilers move to 2-3-1 of the season. Oilers conclude their 5-game road trip against the Senators on Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Red Wings will be in Buffalo for a back-to-back road set against the Sabres on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. On Thursday, they will head to Long Island to play the New York Islanders. That game will air on TNT and HBO Max. Sabres playing good hockey of late after starting off the season on a losing slump. They are getting back in their winning ways, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs again. I think the playoff drought still continues. Detroit, on the other hand, is looking really good. Again, like I said, they have won 5 straight games in a row. They are in one of the top 3 spots in the Atlantic Division as of right now. That could change as the season goes on, but as a Blackhawks fan, I look forward to seeing Detroit playoff hockey again because I miss seeing Detroit in the playoffs. They have not made the playoffs since 2016, and they had Pavel Datsyuk, Kevin Zetterberg, Jimmy Howard on the team then. Dylan Larkin was a rookie at the time that the Red Wings made the playoffs. And I'm just looking forward to see Red Wings playoff hockey again. Hopefully that will be in 2026. These last couple of years, the Red Wings have came so close to making the playoffs, but they fell short each of those last few years. So yeah, hopefully they make the playoffs in 2026. But moving on from that game to the Blackhawks and Ducks game. So Ryan Donato, he scores the overtime game-winning goal as the Blackhawks win 2-1 over the Anaheim Ducks. He scored at 2 minutes and 58 seconds of overtime to win the game off of a great pass from Connor Bedard behind the net, and he tried to bury it. Unfortunately, couldn't bury the overtime winner, so he goes behind the net, spots Ryan Donato, who taps it into a wide open cage, and that's your overtime game-winning goal, and the Blackhawks move to 3-2 of the season. Ryan Donato also had an assist in this win as well, assisting on Frank Nazar's opening goal of the game. And just to let you guys know that as I'm recording this podcast, the Blackhawks are currently sitting in a wild card spot. Now, I'm not saying that the Blackhawks could make the playoffs in 2026 as much as I want to say that, because I am a Blackhawks fan. As much as I want to say that, I don't see them making the playoffs in 2026, but they have shown some signs of improvement over these first 7 games of the season. And I'm really happy to see that the Blackhawks are in a wild card spot. I know that's going to change throughout the season. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully the Blackhawks still stay in that playoff spot. But I know I could be jinxing myself, though. But, yeah, it's good to see that they are showing some signs of improvement under head coach Jeff Blashill. They don't want to win in another 3 years. They want to win now. That's what Connor Bedard said after their game against, I believe it was against either the Blues or the Mammoth. They had an 8-3 win over St. Louis last Wednesday. They had a 3-1 win over the Mammoth last Monday. So, but yeah, he said that he didn't want to win in 3 years. He wants to win now, and the Blackhawks are currently showing that. Love to see it if you're a Blackhawks fan. Like I mentioned already, Frank Nazar scored in this game. He's scored at 9 minutes and 43 seconds of the third period, tapping in his own rebound after the shot from defenseman Wyatt Kaiser hit the post, stayed out, and then Frank Nazar able to bury it on the rebound for a 1-0 lead. I think that this is his third goal of the season for Frank Nazar. And Spencer Knight made 38 saves in the win. So, not going to lie, as a Blackhawks fan, I was a little bit worried coming into overtime because of how the Blackhawks do beyond regulation. Like the first two games that went past regulation, the Blackhawks, their first overtime game of the season was in Boston against their original six foes, the Boston Bruins. And the Bruins won 4-3 in that one. And then they had another game that went beyond regulation against the Vancouver Canucks, which the Canucks won 3-2 in a shootout. I hate playing against the Canucks, to be honest with you guys, because the Canucks are now 11-0 against the Blackhawks. Even in their playoff days, when they faced each other in 2009, 2010, 2011, I hate playing against them. Even though that we won those series in 2009 and 2010, we lost in 2011, unfortunately. I just hate playing against the Canucks overall. So, yeah, hopefully in the next meeting, we'll get a win over Vancouver, but we'll just have to see how everything goes. But, yeah, I was a little bit worried coming to overtime based on how the Blackhawks usually do past regulation in overtime or shootout. But Ryan Donato got it done for the Blackhawks in overtime for their first overtime win of the season. Happy to see that. We've just been dominant against the Ducks overall in general. But the Ducks have a great squad too. I don't want to underestimate them. They have a great squad on that side with head coach Joe Quenneville coaching them now. He used to coach the Blackhawks during the 2010s dynasty. And during the 2010s, led us to 3 Stanley Cups in 2010, 2013, and 2015. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking to do the same with the Anaheim Ducks. He's now back in the NHL since the Kyle Beach sexual assault case that happened in 2021, where he was fired as head coach of the Florida Panthers. It was kind of okay. Good to see Coach Q back at the United Center, bringing back some nostalgia for Blackhawks fans because, again, he used to coach the Blackhawks back in the 2010s. We were dynasty then with Coach Joe Quenneville leading us to 3 Stanley Cups. So, yeah, I would say that will be one good reason to see Coach Q back in NHL in his return to Chicago with the Anaheim Ducks. And speaking of the Ducks, Mason McTavish scored the lone goal for Anaheim, scored on the power play with just 35.8 seconds remaining, converting on a 6-on-4 advantage. That power play goal came after Wyatt Kaiser took the delay of game penalty for the Blackhawks with 1 minute 47 seconds remaining. Would have loved a shutout win because I don't even know when was the last time the Blackhawks had a shutout win, so I was hoping to see a shutout from Spencer Knight. Obviously, not the case, but I'm still glad that we got the win regardless. But again, was hoping for a shutout win. And Lucas Dostal, he made 28 saves in this game, I believe, 28 saves in this one, because I think the Blackhawks had like 29 shots on goal. Lucas Dostal, I'm guessing, made like 28 saves in this one. Anaheim outshot Chicago in this game as well. So, yeah. But this was a close, tight game. I would say this was a close, tight game. Scoreless through the first 2 periods. Frank Nazar getting the Blackhawks on the board in the 3rd period. And then Mason McTavish ties it up on the power play, 36 seconds remaining. Ryan Donato buries it in the wide open cage for the overtime game-winning goal. So, yeah, this was a tight game. Both of these teams have a lot of young talent. Of course, the Blackhawks have Connor Bedard, Frank Nazar, Alex Vlasic, Landon Slaggert. Ducks have Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish, Cutter Gauthier, Jackson Lacombe, Lucas Dostal. So, a lot of young talent on both sides. And both teams are looking to get back into the playoffs. They're looking to improve in their rebuild, which The Ducks, during the second half of last season, certainly showed that, with finishing with 80-plus points last season. The Blackhawks off to a great start this season, 3-2-2 of the season so far for Chicago. So both teams are improving. Both teams looking to get back into the playoffs, and it's going to be a fun ride down this rebuild. So, yeah. The Ducks will continue their 5-game road trip in Nashville against the Predators on Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Blackhawks will head to Tampa Bay to take on Tampa Bay Lightning on Thursday at 5:45 p.m. Central Time. I know that's a weird start time for the Blackhawks. Weird start time overall for hockey in general. 5:45 p.m. Central Time. That's a weird start time, to be honest. But yeah, they will play at 5:45 p.m. Central Time on Thursday against Tampa Bay Lightning, a rematch of the 2015 Stanley Cup Final. And this game will air on Hulu and ESPN Plus. Unfortunately, not the same Blackhawks that were in the 2015 Cup Final. Not the same Tampa Bay Lightning that were in the 2015 Cup Final, because Steven Stamkos is in Nashville. Ben Bishop is no longer on the team. I mean, they still got some of the same players from Lightning that were in that 2015 Cup Final, like Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman, and a bunch of other players. Andre Vasilevsky, because don't forget, Andre Vasilevsky was the backup goalie for Ben Bishop during the 2015 Stanley Cup Final. So, yeah. But moving on from that game to the Bruins and Mammoth game. The Utah Mammoth, they hold on for a 3-2 win at home against the Bruins on Sunday. They moved to 4-2-0 of the season. They improved to 3-0-0 at home with the win, and they are currently sitting third place in the Central Division in the standings. So, not what I expected from the Utah Mammoth. I predicted they'll finish a wild card team, though. They'll make the playoffs. I predicted that. But I predicted that they'll finish as a wild card team. Starting living up to the expectations. Dylan Guenther, he had the game-winning goal in this one. Scored with 9 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the third period. So, of course, J.J. Peterka creates a nice turnover from Marat Konstantov. Hopefully I pronounced that last name right. I probably didn't. And delivered a cross-side feed to Dylan Guenther, who one-timed it past Bruins goaltender Jonas Korpisalo from the left circle for the game winner. This was Dylan Guenther's 11th game-winning goal in his career. And the Utah hold on for the 3-2 win over the Bruins. Clayton Keller, he had a multi-point game. He had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Nick Schmaltz, who had a hat trick against the Sharks on Friday, he finished this game with 2 points, only having 2 assists in this one. Logan Cooley scored for Utah. Of course, Mammoth fans are looking to see an extension from Logan Cooley, because I think it was like earlier in the season he turned down a long-term contract extension offer from the Utah Mammoth. And I'm pretty sure Mammoth fans are looking to see an extension from Logan Cooley, the Minnesota Golden Gopher. Logan Cooley's goal came on the power play, 4 minutes and 20 seconds in the first period. And Vika Vanacek made 24 saves on 26 shots, faced the net. And for the Bruins, David Pastrnak scored both goals for the Boston Bruins, scored on the power play and at even strength. And fun fact, David Pastrnak's 2 goals in this game pushed him to 395 career goals, tying Ray Bork for 6 all-time in Bruins franchise history. So that's a fun fact to point out. Jonas Korpisalo made 24 saves on 27 shots faced in net. And the Bruins, after starting off the season on a surprisingly good note, they have now went from up here to down here. They have now lost their 4th straight game. They were winless in their 3-game road trip against Vegas, Colorado, and Utah. And they moved to 3-4-0 of the season. They have allowed 17 goals during their losses. Of course, it was a 4-3 loss to Tampa Bay at home on October 13th. Crazy 6-5 loss to the Golden Knights on October 16th. A 4-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche on October 18th. And then a 3-2 loss to the Utah Mammoth on October 19th. And the Boston Bruins will look back to get back to their winning ways as they start a 3-game homestand against Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So Brad Marchand coming into Beantown, facing off against his former team, a team he won the Stanley Cup with back in 2011. As a Blackhawks fan, I was happy for the Bruins to win the Stanley Cup that year because the Canucks eliminated us in the first round to get to the Stanley Cup final. And again, goes back to my point earlier in the podcast saying I hate playing against the Canucks overall, even though they're not in the same division as us, because the Blackhawks are in the Central Division, Canucks in the Pacific Division, but they're in the Western Conference, and I just hate playing against the Canucks. So I was really happy that the Bruins won the Cup that year against the Canucks in 2011. So, yeah. But yeah, the Bruins will start a 3-game homestand against the Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers on Tuesday. I'll be watching that game since the Blackhawks don't play till Thursday, since that'll be a intriguing game to watch, especially for Bruins fans. That game will come on at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The game will air on ESPN. Utah Mammoth will face off against the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. Central Time. That game will also air on ESPN. The second meeting of the season between the Mammoth and the Avalanche. The Avalanche won 2-1 against the Mammoth in their home opener. These two teams will meet again on December 23rd and February 25th. All right, anyways, taking a look at the 5 NHL games on the slate for today. We got the Minnesota Wild taking on the New York Rangers at 6:00 p.m. Central Time. The game will air on NHL Network. Rangers back at home. They are coming off a 4-3 win over their original 6 rivals, the Montreal Canadiens, on Saturday. And man, oh man, that was a great game. Bell Center, one of the best arenas to go watch a hockey game. Like, if you have not went to the Bell Center to watch a hockey game, I highly recommend you go, because that arena is always buzzing, especially on Saturday nights for, hockey night in Canada. Now, I will tell you this, they do speak a little bit of French in Montreal, so they speak English too, but they speak a little bit of French as well. So, be prepared to learn some French, or you might want to take French classes if you're not already, because they do speak French in Montreal. They speak a little English too, but they speak French as well. So, if you have not went to the Bell Center, please go. Please go. Highly recommend you go. One of the best arenas to go watch a hockey game. And like I said, be prepared to learn some French as well. You don't want to have a Chris Tucker rush hour moment where Chris Tucker was talking to Jackie Chan in Rush Hour, and he was saying, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" You don't want to have that moment if you go to Montreal. So, yeah. But yeah, anyways, Rangers back at home against the Minnesota Wild. Rangers have not scored at home. All of their goals this season up until this point have came on the road, not at home. And Madison Square Garden, another great arena to go watch a hockey game at, because their fans are always loud too, always buzzing. And that arena has not been the case at all this season, as they have gotten shut out in 3 of their home games to start the season. A shutout loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, a shutout loss to the Washington Capitals, and a shutout loss to the Edmonton Oilers. Can the Rangers get it done against Krill the Thrill and the Minnesota Wild? We'll just have to see. Luckily, that game is on NHL Network for you guys to watch. And then we got the Seattle Kraken taking on the Philadelphia Flyers at 6:00 p.m. Central Time. The Kraken coming off of a 4-3 overtime win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Speaking of which, their counterparts in the MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays, that forced a Game 7 against the Seattle Mariners. So the Maple Leafs couldn't get it done Saturday. Blue Jays got it done on Sunday. So they forced a Game 7 against the Mariners. I think that game will come on, I want to say maybe Tuesday or so. Should be a great Game 7. 2 of the best words in sports. So we'll see who moves on. I believe the winner of that series will go on to face the Dodgers in the World Series. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been keeping up with the MLB playoffs of late ever since the Chicago Cubs lost to their rivals, the Milwaukee Brewers, in the NLCS. So I haven't been really keeping up with the MLB playoffs since then. But yeah, that should be a great Game 7 to watch if you're into baseball. And then we got the Buffalo Sabres taking on the Montreal Canadiens at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This game will air on Amazon Prime for Canadians only. So to my fellow Canadians up north, this game will air on Amazon Prime. You guys will get to watch this on Amazon Prime. For the people in the U.S., fortunately, you won't be able to get to watch this on Prime. So sorry about that. And then we got the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Calgary Flames at 8:30 p.m. Central Time for a Canadian showdown. And then we got the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the VGK Vegas Golden Knights at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Hurricanes are 5-0 this season, coming off of an overtime win over the LA Kings on Saturday. The Golden Knights are currently on a 6-game point streak to start the season. They're 4-0-2 of the season on a 6-game point streak to start the season. Can the Hurricanes extend their win streak to 6-0? Can the Golden Knights extend their point streak to 7 games of the season? We'll just have to see. That would be a great showdown to watch. That's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. If you have not already, we're with you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. each time. So make sure to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk TG podcast and the latest hockey news that's going around the league. Your go-to coverage for all things hockey, your number one podcast for all things hockey. So make sure to follow the Hockey Talk TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube if you have not already. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. I will see you guys on Wednesday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.